Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be about lists. So let's get right into it. First, we have to understand what lists actually are. A list looks like this. You can see in this specific list, it is called fruits. And how do we create a list? A list is created with a square brackets at the beginning and a square brackets at the end. And inside our list, we can see that there are many items with quotes around them. Each item is a string. You can see that we have apple, banana, peach, plum, and grapes. And each set of quotes is separated by a comma. Each set of quotes in this list is called an element. So you can see in our list of fruits, we have a total of 5 elements. So let's say we want to print a specific item in our list. How do we do this? Well, first, all we have to do is type print because we are printing an element in our list. And then we're going to type our list name, which is fruits. After I do this, I have to put an index number. Now, what is an index number? Well, now let's take a look back at our list of fruits. We know that we have 5 elements. Each of these different fruits are going to have their own different index. Apple is going to have index 0, banana is going to have index 1, peach is going to have index 2, plum has index 3, and grapes has index 4. You should note that indexes always start at 0 and never at 1. So that's why we're going to end with grapes having index 4 and not index 5. So now that we know what indexes are, let's say I wanted to print this word over here, plum. Well, let's try to figure out what index this is. So we start from 0, 1, 2, 3. So plum is the third index in our list of fruits. So we're going to come back down to our print statement. And in order to print the word plum, we're going to put a square brackets, the correct index, which is 3 in this case, and whatever we open it, we have to close. So I'm going to close the square brackets and then close the print statement. And now if we click enter, we can see that our shell has printed plum because that is the third index in our list of fruits. Now, even though we have clicked enter, you can see that our list of fruits is still going to be available to us. So if let's say I want to still print this list, well, all we have to do is write print because we're printing a list, and then we're just going to put the list name, which is fruits. So now if I close my parentheses and click enter, you can see that all of the items in our list, all of the elements in our list are still available. Now, what can you actually do with this list? Well, other things you can do are, for example, sorting them in alphabetical order. All we have to do is put a command, and this command is a sort command. So all we're going to do is write fruits, which is our list name, dot sort. And if we just open and close parentheses and click enter, and now let's print fruits. And when we do this, you can see that it has been rearranged in alphabetical order from A to P. There are 4 more important functions that we need to learn to do with lists. One of them is adding an element to the list. One of them is inserting an element to the list. And the others are removing specific elements from the list. Alright, let's focus on the first one, appending or adding an element to our list. So all we have to do, very simply, is write our list name, which is fruits, and just like the sort function, this is going to be an append instead. So we're going to do dot append, which means add, and now we have to put a parentheses because this is of course a function, and we have to put the word are we going to add to this list. What fruit? Alright, so let's say we wanted to add oranges. So all we have to do is put our quotations because this is a string, and now we just put orange. And when I close this, because we have to close everything we open, close the parentheses, and now we have to actually print the list. So print fruits, and when we do this, you can see that at the end of our list, we have added an element, which is an orange. But now let's say I wanted to add another element, except I didn't want it to be at the end. I actually want it to be at this position over here. How do we do that? Well, this is where our insert function comes into play. So let's start by writing our list name, because that's how all our functions have worked. Let's put the insert, because that's the name of our function, parentheses. And now you can see here that we have to put the index. That's the first requirement. So we are trying to insert our new element. Let's say we're trying to add a fruit, which is lemons. And I want it to go right before grapes and after banana. Well, what index is this going to be? Well, apple is 0, banana is 1, and 2 is where this element is going to be. So we're going to put the index that we have to insert it, and then what string are we trying to add in between the banana and the grapes? This is lemons, so we're going to write lemon, close our quotations, close our parentheses, and now if we print our list, you can see that lemon, the word lemon, has been inserted right between banana and grapes in index number 2. Now that we know how to add elements to our list, let's figure out how to remove elements from our list. So this is where the pop function comes into play. How does this work? Well, let's say we wanted to remove the peach from our list of fruits. Well, pop means we have to use the index. So let's first find the index, and I'll show you what I mean. Well, apple is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Peach, the element peach, is index number 4, which means we are trying to remove index number 4 from our list of fruits. So we're going to write our list name, fruits dot pop. That's what our new function is called. And we're going to put the index that we are trying to remove, which we figured out is 4. And now if I close this parentheses, and it'll show us that index number 4 is peach, and it has removed this from the list. So now when I print our list of fruits, you can see that peach is no longer in our list. But let's say we had a list with over 100 elements. We can't figure out a specific index by counting from 0. In this case, we would actually have to find the actual element and what it's called. What I mean is, let's say there's this list of fruits was super big with 100 other fruits. And let's say I wanted to remove a element that was grapes, except it was too far to count down. So instead of using a pop function, we can use a remove function. And instead of using an index inside of our remove function, we would use the actual element, which is grapes. Let me show you what I mean. So let's say I want to remove grapes from our list. So we're going to put the list name dot remove our function. And remember, now instead of putting the actual index, we're going to put the value of our element, and that is grapes. And grapes is a string, so it has to be in quotes. And now we can do this, and we'll see that when we print fruits, grapes is no longer in our list. Now, when we print our actual list, it doesn't look very good. What I mean by this is we can see the square brackets and we can see the parentheses, the quotations here, and it doesn't look in a nice formatted way where there's just a space or just even a comma between each thing. We have all these other characters like the square brackets and the quotations. So how do we get a way to iterate through all of the lists? Is there a way that we can do this? Well, if you remember in the last video, to go through a group of numbers, we could use a for loop. Let me try this out. So a for loop always starts with the for, and then we're going to have to put our variable. This variable is going to be the variable that goes through the entire list. Let's just use I. Now for I in what? It's I in our list, which is fruits. So when I goes through each of these elements in our fruits, the first cycle through, I will be apple. The second cycle, it'll be banana. The third, peach, plum, and then grapes. So let's just print I and see what happens. You can see that all of our elements have been printed in a nice and clean space in between another element. So how does this actually work? Well, just like I explained, I is going to be each element in the list. It's going to keep changing every single time it goes through the list. So the first time around, I is set equal to apple. And, well, sorry, is set equal to apple. And when we print I, it prints apple. Now, after printing I, it goes all the way back up to the beginning. For I in fruits, what's the next element in our list? Well, that is banana. So, I is now equal to banana. So when we print I, the next word that is printed is banana. So on and so forth. Alright, so that was just a quick run through list. And that's going to be it for today's video, but I'll see you in the next one where I'll go through more information about lists. See you then.